Well, I'm Kirk Schultz. I've been shoeing horses about 30 years now. I'm a certified journeyman farrier with the American Farriers Association. AFA number is 471. And I'm also very pleased to be able to say that I've been chosen to be one of the farriers at the World Equestrian Games this fall, 2010, at the Lexington, Kentucky Horse Park. So that's a real honor to be able to represent the United States and my chosen profession to the world as farriers. I'm here today to talk about these Happy Hoofwear shoes. They are polyurethane shoe. My interest in polyurethane, or actually in just synthetic shoes in general, started about 30 years ago. I was driving horses, primarily pavement, gravel roads, and I wanted some shoes that would maintain the soundness of my horse for years and years and years. I think that my search has stopped here with the Happy Hoofwear shoes. I'm playing with this as I speak. I can't help myself, I just do. They move, they bend, and they absorb a tremendous amount of concussion as they strike the ground. Because they're so flexible, and you can see the torque that's in there, I think a lot of what's happening is as the hoof expands and contracts over top of this shoe, the nails that on a steel shoe will brace the heels and keep the heels inward are actually pivoting within that shoe. There's so much flexibility within the shoe itself. And yet at the same time, I get a lot of questions, and here's a sample. A lot of people ask me, well, do the nails pull through? And no, they don't. There's a shoe that's been pulled. And on these nails, you can see where all the clinches have actually straightened up, and yet there's the nail still in the shoe. I've been using these shoes for about 2 years now and have not had any of them pull the nails through the shoe. It is an issue with some of the synthetic shoes. Traction is an issue with a lot of the synthetic shoes. The Happy Hoofwear shoes give very good traction in snow and ice, wet mud, pavement, on cobblestone streets, wet or dry. Amish are using them a lot for their buggy horses. We're starting to have a lot of the police horses using these shoes. One of the comments I get from my owners is that this shoe you can easily pick out. There's 5 little spots have been added into this shoe that you put your hoof pick in, and it's leverage. Pops the dirt out very easily. To me as a farrier, I don't think of stuff like that. To my owners, it's important. I hear a lot of comments from them. The other comment that surprised me initially is when I go back and talk to my owners, they say, my gosh, my horses love these shoes. They don't say that I love the shoe nearly so much as the horses really like the shoes. They're moving better. They're taking a little longer stride. They're picking their legs up a little higher. You can feel a little more motion under the saddle. And again, it's because so much of that impact is absorbed here into the foot that you're freeing up the joints, the tendons, the ligaments. They're not doing the work. Another question I get a lot of farriers in particular asking, can you glue these shoes on? Well, yes, you can. Here's a shoe that's been glued on, and obviously it's no longer attached. You can see where the glue, including a little bit of hair, has let loose of the foot before it's let loose of the shoe. So gluing is a good way to go on these Happy Hoofwear shoes as well. Lots of folks want to know, can you put studs in? Yes, you can. These are a screw-in stud. There's the base on the hoof side. I started out being concerned with traction and using studs on some of my horses. After some practical experience, I don't think these are necessary. They might be good from an owner's point of view, but as far as the horses, the traction on these shoes is so good you just don't need them. That's pretty much an overview on the Happy Hoofwear shoes. They come in a variety of colors, including black and clear, so a lot of owners like them. If they got purple leg wraps, purple lead shank, by golly, they want purple shoes too, so we can handle that. Let's get a horse, and I'll show you how to pull them off, how to trim a foot, how to nail them on. Pretty simple, easy operation. The gentleman holding the horse is Jim Dines. Him and his wife Becky, and his boss Becky, own Rusty Horse Stables. They board, they train, they do lessons. And more importantly than Jim is this mare. This is Grace. She's one of their school horses. She's one of the better school horses. You can trust her with little kids. She doesn't take advantage, and when you push the right button, this mare does what she's supposed to do. That makes her a valuable horse. She's also got navicular. And before I started using these Happy Hoofwear shoes, I got notes so I had my dates accurate. I looked up all my shoeing records. We put them on her April 13th of '09. That was the first time that we put shoes on her. As very commonly happens, with the initial shoeing, the hoof wall thickens, the heels open up, and you can't reset that shoe 6 weeks later. The foot is so much larger, you need to go to a larger shoe size. So June 11th of '09, I put new front shoes on her a second time. This is June 16th of 2010. So we're basically a year. She's used these same shoes that whole year, and they're worn out. Today she'll get new shoes on. I'll show you a worn set of shoes here as we pull them off. But the important part of it is, she went from being quite sore, being used once or twice a week, and that was a maximum. And I think, Jim, you had her on Butte a lot of the time as well, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
To, by the third shoeing, she's packing kids regularly, she's comfortable. I got here that day and Becky says, you need to watch this horse move. And moving her here on the concrete, she is a huge improvement. And I hear this so very, very often from client after client after client. Their horses are happy with these shoes on, they're moving better. Now, often we see an improvement immediately. The very next ride, these owners are telling me they can feel their horses reaching out and moving a little better. But also often, especially as in this case with some old lamenesses, some long-term stuff, it takes 3 or 4 shoeings for the effects of that shoe absorbing the concussion and changing the roll and the motion of the foot to work its way up through the joints and tendons and ligaments, and really to get maximum benefit out of it. Flip side to that though, it's like Gracie here, she was sore a long time before we started using these shoes. So to have a relatively long recovery period, a 3 shoeing, 4 shoeing recovery period is not a surprise. That should be anticipated.